He gave her 12 STDs. You just heard what I said. 12 STDs in 6 months. First off, if you got one, why the hell was you continuously sleeping with this person after the fact?
We talk about Florida, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. We talk about all these other places with all these high-ass numbers and cases coming back for positive HIV tests, but ain't nobody talking about all the 30,000 that came back positive in the city alone. Chicago is the city. And ain't nobody talking about it?
I was with a guy for almost 4 years. Apparently he knew he had HIV. Never disclosed his status with me. He watched me get sick and gave me HIV and never told me.
Before we get into today's story, and trust me, you are going to want to be seated for this one, you may notice something sounds a little different around here. I know, you had a whole thing with the last voice, a whole connection, and honestly, she was that girl. But listen, same channel, same writer, same zero tolerance for nonsense, same humor interpretation of events, same girls gossip over tea energy that got us to 48,000 of you showing up every single day, and I am committed to giving you the best. So let's get started. 12 STDs. I need to start there, because I have been sitting with that number, and I have questions. Not for the woman who got them. Baby, we are praying for you. We are lighting every candle. I have questions for the man who was out here operating like a one-person biological hazard with his whole chest and absolutely zero remorse. 12. In 6 months. Sir, that is not a situationship. That is a clinical trial. That is a health department's entire annual report, wrapped up in one person, who clearly had way too much free time and not enough fear of consequences. Okay, I need to move on before I hurt myself. Hi, welcome back to TikTok Crimes. And before you think this is about to be one of those wear a condom conversations your high school gym teacher had with you in 1998 while looking at the ceiling, it is not. What we are getting into today is bigger than that. We are talking about entire cities that are quietly on fire while the news is busy covering something else. Atlanta, Chicago, Houston, the Carolinas. Real people, real names, real TikTok accounts. People who got on camera on some of their worst days and said what nobody around them had the courage to say out loud. And we are definitely talking about a specific kind of person. Not the careless ones, not the ones who didn't know. We are talking about the calculated ones. The ones who have been doing this long enough
that they have a system. Because here is something this video is going to teach you that you will not find anywhere else. And I need you to pay attention, because this is the part you are going to screenshot and send to your group chat. There are people walking around right now with a template, a ready-made, already formatted negative HIV and STD test result, saved on their phone, on their laptop, ready to print, the moment somebody asks. And they are not nervous when you ask, because they have done it before. They pull it out smooth, they hand it to you calm, and you look at that paper and think, okay, we are good. I did the right thing. I asked. And baby, that piece of paper means absolutely nothing. Because here is what we used to think. We used to think you could look at someone and tell. We thought it showed up on the body. Thin, tired, visibly unwell. That was then, before the medication got so advanced that people living with HIV look healthier than people who are not. Radiant skin, full of energy. You would swear on everything. It is not possible. And in the hands of someone with bad intentions, it became the perfect cover. So now you cannot trust what you see with your eyes, and you cannot automatically trust what you see on paper either. This is why you watch and share TikTok Crimes, because we are going to keep telling you the things nobody else is saying. After this video, you will know, even after seeing that piece of paper, You need to speak with their doctor directly. And don't you dare let anyone make you feel paranoid for doing so. A person with nothing to hide does not flinch at being verified. The ones who call you paranoid are banking on you feeling too embarrassed to push further. Do not back down. There are people who are lifetime carriers today, not because they were reckless, but because they stopped at a piece of paper. And that piece of paper was a lie. Let's get into it.
In the last 8 months, Atlanta alone, have reported 20,000 HIV cases. I don't know how many times I can say this, but I'm going to say it every day if I have to. You need to keep your legs closed. I don't know what the hell is going on, but sex is not one of them things that you need to be doing. It's not worth dying for. And I don't care how good the medication is now. I don't care that it is now not a automatic death sentence like that as it used to be. I don't care. Keep your legs closed. 20,000 cases in the last 8 months in Atlanta. Is it worth? I wish I would even go visit down there. It is not going to happen. And unfortunately, I know some people that have contracted it. To be truthfully honest with you, all of them happen to be men. It's not worth your life. Protect yourself. Leave it alone. Go get tested together. Know your status. Take PrEP. If you are not celibate, ladies, this is the time to be celibate. The HIV/AIDS infection rate is going up extremely quickly. Houston is a hot spot. We already know about Atlanta being a hot spot. Now I'm hearing about the Carolinas going up in STD rates. If you are not celibate, it's time to be. You don't need to be sleeping with anybody. And you for damn sure don't need to be sleeping with anybody unprotected. I just saw a video of this woman yelling and screaming outside of this man's home as he's coming out. He's getting in his tow truck, yelling at him. And she said that this man gave her AIDS. He gave her 12 STDs. You just heard what I said. 12 STDs in 6 months.
Hey, you can't. I ain't did from. Right? Like you don't care about giving me AIDS. Dude, you know you had a STD. Yes, you did. I showed you the paperwork. They don't give you antibiotics for nothing, Phil. Look at them, y'all. This out here gave me 12 STDs in 6 months. This man gave me AIDS.
First off, if you got one, why the hell was you continuously sleeping with this person after the fact? It is a wrap on just having casual flings and sexual encounters with people because you just don't know. People are out here just reckless, don't care. They know they have a STD. They know they have something that they can't get rid of, and they do not care. They will spread it to you because they want you to hurt and be miserable like they are. Close your legs. We need to close our legs for more than just that, because pregnancy is the absolute not in this country at this point, because hell, you'll die from that too. It's a wrap. It's time to wrap it up, close it up, whatever you got to do, because it is not worth your life.
She said they want you to hurt and be miserable, like they are. And I need you all to sit with that for a second, because that is not recklessness. That is a decision. That is someone looking at another human being and choosing them as a target. And the terrifying part is they are not doing it in the dark. They are doing it in relationships, in beds that smell like trust and familiarity, in situationships that felt safe. Houston, Atlanta, the Carolinas. These are not war zones. These are cities where people are going to brunch and downloading dating apps and thinking they are being careful, and they are still ending up in a doctor's office, getting news that changes everything.
So you telling me 15,000 people is positive for having HIV in the fucking city? Not 1,500, not 15 people. 15,000 motherfuckers is positive for having HIV, bro. I don't know if this shit true. You know, motherfuckers be chasing it on Facebook and all that, but please let me know if this shit ain't true. Cause if it is, I'm finna go buy me a pocket pussy, cause I'd rather beat my dick and to stick my dick in one of you in Chicago. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Cause 15,000, bro, that's damn near the whole fucking city, bro. That shit probably west, north, south, east, like ain't no telling.
15,000 people have been diagnosed with HIV. 15,000 people in Chicago. Not 1,500, 15,000. So with that being known, right? If you was in a long-term relationship and you decide to go out here and play into these streets, you is stupid right now. It's 2026. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell 15,000 people, I don't want no relationship in Chicago. Cause this has 15,000 people we know. Just imagine out them 15,000 people, how many of them have clapped somebody you know and to clap somebody who didn't get checked or none of that. I'm cool. I am cool, especially in Chicago. Look, 15,000 people got HIV. 15,000, not 100,000. Damn.
Wait a minute now, Chicago on fire? We ain't talking about 30, 300, 3,000. There has been a confirmed positive of damn near 30,000 cases that have tested positive for HIV amongst men and women coming out of the shot town, out the city. And ain't nobody on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, ain't nobody speaking on it. But here it is, we talk all that trash about all the other goddamn states. And you mean to tell me y'all is down there in the shot, swapping spit, sharing men and women amongst each other? Ain't no way, and y'all be having the nerve to keep these cheating ass men and women that y'all be 30,000 goddamn cases tested positive. Oh my God, that don't make no goddamn sense. We thought it was just inaccuracy. But a lot of these health officials that work in hospitals or whatnot down there, they in the comment sections confirming exactly what but you won't hear too many people talking about what's going on. We talk about Florida, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. We talk about all these other places with all these high-ass numbers and cases coming back for positive HIV tests, but ain't nobody talking about all the 30,000 that came back positive in the city alone. Chicago is the city. And ain't nobody talking about it? Ooh, well, y'all keeping it.
The number went from 15,000 to 30,000 within the same city, inside the same conversation. And I want you to notice something. The people confirming these numbers in the comment sections of these videos are not bloggers. They are not gossip accounts. They are hospital workers. People who clock in, put on scrubs, and watch this happen in real time, and their outlet for telling the truth is a comment section. Because apparently that is the only place that doesn't have a PR filter on it. 30,000 people, one city, and it is not the top story. Make that make sense.
It is Sunday, August 27th. This week I found out that I have HIV. I was diagnosed on August 23rd. I was diagnosed. Today is my attempt at my first day out. I'm going to the movies with my friend. Had a really hard time. It was really hard to get ready. I don't quite know what I want to do with my story. I don't know if I want to share it. I don't know. My mind is 1,000 places at once. But I wanted to document this in case one day I do decide to share it, so that this part of my journey is seen. I also just want to document this for my own self, to see how far I come, because I know I have a life of trials and tribulations, and I know that this is important. This part of the story is important, whatever I make it. That's really all. I never thought I would be here. I never thought I would be talking and recording myself crying. It's not who I am. But I'm here. I'm at my lowest point. Well, I've been lower, actually, which is surprising. But I'm at a really big crossroad in my life, and I'm just here. And I'm thankful for that.
She said she is thankful just to be here. And I don't want to rush past that, because that is what this actually does to a person. It doesn't just change your health. It changes how you see yourself. It changes the morning routine. Getting dressed becomes hard. Going to the movies with a friend becomes an achievement. And she filmed this, raw, unscripted, not knowing if she would ever share it, because she wanted a record of how far she would eventually come. That kind of quiet courage is everything. And her story is one of the reasons this conversation needs to keep happening.
I was diagnosed with AIDS. When I first got diagnosed with HIV, I was technically in the AIDS category. You remember AIDS, the disease that killed millions of people and still continues to kill people to this day, sometimes. It was 2017 when I got really sick at one point in time, to the point where I lost 15 pounds in about 3 days. I was so sick, it quite literally felt like I was dying. I went to ER, and all that they could tell me was there was some viral infection happening. I remember them specifically asking when was the last time I got tested, and I could not remember. So they said that they were going to run tests just to be safe. Then I heard nothing about it. And somehow, by some miracle, I just seemed to have bounced back from this infection. Fast forward to January of 2018. I happened to be intimate with somebody, and for whatever reason, after this moment, I was bleeding. That was the first time that's ever happened to me. I went to the doctors to see what was going on, and he said, Andrew, it's time that you get tested again. I said, yeah, I'm always happy to get tested more often, but I could have sworn I just got tested and you don't see the results. And he goes, no, I don't see anyone doing tests on you. I said, do you see that I went to ER back in September of 2017? He said, yes, I see that, but I don't see them running any tests. Fantastic. So we get tested, and this was Tuesday, January 16th, 2018. And then I'm told, and I don't even know if I should be saying this online, I then was told over the phone on January 18th, 2018, Andrew, you have HIV. Now, when I first heard him tell me this, I could have sworn he said HPV. And I don't know, HPV I guess sounded nicer to HIV at the time, I don't know, but I didn't have the reaction. He corrected me, again, over the phone, and said, no, Andrew, it's not HPV, it's HIV. And that was it. My life completely changed. I then met with a specialist January 30th, the last day of that month, or 31st, whatever that day was. And thankfully at the time, he just told me we have HIV. I was given a medication. That was that. It wasn't until a later conversation that he told me Technically speaking, Andrew, when we were first dealing with your case, your viral load was in the AIDS category. I said, what? He said, yep. Technically speaking, when we first interacted with each other, your viral load was so high, it would be considered AIDS. Now here we are, 7 years later, where I'm able to live a healthy, normal life. I have a beautiful partner, we have a dog, I have a great relationship with friends and family. And all of that is because of all the advancements that they've made on this disease. And now we are watching them target this awful disease when we have so many other things to deal with. Not only are they going after the research on how to cure HIV, but they're going on how to prevent it as well. Do you understand? This disease doesn't discriminate. It doesn't just go after queer people. It goes after everybody. Doesn't matter how rich you are. I really need everybody to look at what is happening.
He thought the doctor said HPV, and honestly, the fact that his brain softened the blow for him in that split second says everything about how terrifying that phone call is. But here is what Andrew is doing 7 years later, that I need you to hear. He is healthy. He is in a relationship. He has a dog. He is living. Because the medication exists and it works, which makes what is happening in Washington right now even more enraging. Because while Andrew is out here being a whole testimony, the government moved to cut over $1 billion in HIV prevention funding. 5 of the CDC's 10 HIV prevention branches gone. The very programs that help people get diagnosed early, get medicated fast, and live lives that look exactly like Andrew's, being dismantled. And if you think that does not affect you personally, Chicago wants a word.
How I got HIV and neurosyphilis, a decision I made and I'll forever regret it. It was honestly one night when I was feeling lonely and depressed. So to feel better, I did what a lot of gay people do. I got on this app called Grindr and I started looking for someone to have fun with. I was sent a picture of another person on a different profile and I sent a picture back. And I was invited to the person's house. Very little information was shared. It was around 12:30 a.m. in the middle of the night. I never asked about the person's status and did not even ensure that protection would be used. I just went along with it because I wanted to have fun. I drove my car to the person's place, and when I arrived, we got down into business. And as I said earlier on, very little information was shared. This individual did not use protection, and I did not even ask about it. But towards the end of the encounter, he literally asked whether he should come in me, and I said no vigorously. But he tried to pull out, and he did not pull out quickly enough. I felt a burning sensation instantly. When I got home, I had a suspicion that something bad had happened, and within 3 weeks, I started experiencing symptoms, and I put together that I have contracted HIV. I contacted my doctor and went in for an appointment, and after a series of tests were run, my suspicion was confirmed that I have tested positive for HIV and even worse, neurosyphilis. Decision I made and I forever regret it. If you are listening to me out there, please and please again, no matter how you are in love with someone. When you meet the person, you want to get intimate, one night stand, whatever the reason may be, please get tested to know whether you are safe enough before you get intimate with someone. Make sure that you and the person, you go to the hospital to check whether you are free from HIV and any other kind of deadly sexual related diseases, because it's on the rise in Accra especially. So please, I'm creating this awareness. It's on the rise. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section as to whether you've checked your HIV status at the moment.
His body filed a complaint in real time, a burning sensation, instantly, and he already knew, before the test confirmed it. Now this story is being shared anonymously through someone else's platform, and that detail alone tells you something. Because even in 2026, there are people who cannot put their name on their truth yet. The stigma is still that heavy, and that stigma is exactly why people stay quiet, why they don't ask before, why they don't push back when something feels wrong, because nobody wants to be the person who made it awkward. But awkward is survivable. What comes after not asking sometimes isn't.
Alright, I want the chance to be myself completely, and I'm tired of my existence being a secret. So this is just a small sliver of what I've experienced thus far. But this is the story of how I got HIV by the age of 19. And please believe me, I was just as surprised and confused as anybody else would be. By the time I started doing the do, which was when I was 19, I had experienced 19 years of being told that I was unloved and entirely undesirable, and that nobody could understand or want me, which left me very confused. Keep in mind I'm autistic, so following orders is pretty much my entire childhood. So there is no saying no, you just say yes. There is no autonomy. So around the age of 19, I lost my virginity. I was depressed because my life was crap, and I was somewhere online and somebody had introduced the Grindr app to me. And so I downloaded the app, and next thing I knew, there was these plethora of men that were interested in me, which was alien to me because I'd spent my entire life being completely undesired. So the next thing I knew, I was inside a man's car crying and telling him my life story. And after I finished telling him my life story up until that point, he requested that I gave him head, which I did. And that was my first time ever doing that. And so I finished crying, gave him head, he finished, and I went back to my room. And that's how I lost whatever that was. But anyways, what followed was absolutely absurd in my perspective. But along with my desire to be seen and felt, there were, a lot of people out there. And so there were a lot of men that were coming to see me. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know why they were there, essentially. And I damn sure didn't know how to tell them no. So essentially every day I was sneaking these men into my room, which I paid for, by the way. It's crazy that I had to sneak them in, but anyways, it was plenty of men, not a dozen, but multiple of dozens. And this went on for a few months, not many, about 2 or 3, of just being used by literally whoever, essentially. People I desired, people I didn't desire. I didn't know how to say no, so the moment that any communication was initiated, I felt like I had to allow them because I'd already been conditioned that I can't say no. So that's what it was. And amongst other terrible things happened in my life, around December of that year, my lymph nodes had started to swell. And me, I'm on top of my health always. I'm with it. So I don't play no games. So I immediately Googled what's going on, and it told me that that was a symptom of HIV. And there wasn't much I could do. I was already in a very terrible circumstance just in life in general. And there was this one man that I had linked with that was willing to help me out. So he would take me to the hospital, help me get whatever medication I needed. At this same time, I'm just coming out to my family. I just came out to my high school best friend. And so he's helping me out as much as he can, but I'm irate. I'm in pain, I'm suffering from symptoms, and I'm untreated. So eventually around January, when I do get treated,
I go to the clinic, they pin my finger, they take my blood, and it's the rapid test. So they let me know, hey, you have HIV. Me? I don't know. All this shit happened pretty fast. But what I do know is that the faces that the nurses was giving me, they looked like they were watching a dead man walking. Like the lady was like, oh, I'm so sorry, this, that, and the third. And they just was looking at me like my life is over. But in my eyes, it felt like my life had just begun. I don't know why, but me dying in that way, like just experiencing that, when I went outside, the sky was brighter. I didn't feel a need to be connected to whatever it was that was my idea of life before that. And so I got on my medication. And then after that shit, I just kept trucking it. Doing what I need to do. Loving God, loving people, taking care of the world. And that done been me since. But yeah, that's how that happened. And that's how that went down. And I'm just sharing this because I want to be myself. And I don't want my life to be a secret, because I'm not ashamed of my damn experiences. Hell, I got a lot more experiences I could tell y'all about. But hopefully somebody sees this and they understand that, the world not so dark. You feel me? Strange shit happens to all of us, and you can overcome it. Trust me, the world is a lot crazier than you think, and your craziest idea may be vanilla. But that is to say, it gets better, and you'll be fine. Bless you all, and thank you for listening. And I hope that my truth is able to help somebody. I love you all, bless you, and thank you, my darlings. Doses. Good morning, good morning. So this is going to be a part 2, plus a little more details about part 1. So this is what happened. So I think it's best that we start this at COVID, when COVID started. I just returned home to Savannah from the military, and everything had shut down. So I wasn't allowed to go to my duty station for months while still basically being half civilian, half military, this weird limbo for months. And so when I finally ended around like September or something, it was time for me to go to my duty station. So I went. And when I went there, I was in a terrible mental state because I'd already had been abused much of my life and also had experienced strenuous amounts of abuse with the military constantly. So because of my mental state, the military forced me to go active duty, took me away from my house, my job, and they locked me on base with no pay. And all of this is happening simultaneously around the time I just lost my virginity. So anyways, after all of that, and I managed to make it back home, around Christmas Eve, a boy from school had contacted me. And like I said, I wasn't used to anybody liking me. Nobody liked me. And this boy, he was athlete, popular, top. And so I was shocked. Surprised, and excited. And so I went to see him. He Ubered me to his place. We did what adults do. But anyways, shortly after that, I began to experience symptoms, horrible symptoms. I was in pain, like a lot of pain. I was in my room essentially screaming for days, and I really didn't have much of anybody to help me. My throat was swelling, and I really couldn't do nothing about it. It was other things going on. I was out of my body in pain for days on end, essentially writhing on the floor, in the car, writhing in pain on the way to the hospital because my body is literally dying. But while all of this was happening, there was a party that was being thrown at my house. And so meanwhile, I'm going through all of this suffering. My family is here at this house, and I'm not able to share with them that I'm suffering, like I'm literally dying. And I can't even tell them. And right then and there was the moment that I realized that the things in my life that I have been living for couldn't do nothing for me. And I needed to change my perspective on, like the things that I was allowed to control how I felt about myself and dictate how I felt about myself wasn't even able to help me in my deepest, darkest of circumstances. And so anyways, boom, I ended up on my medication, you feel me? Did what I was supposed to do, ended up undetectable. And shortly into that year, I found myself with a crush. He was about my age, and we would hang out a lot. I would go over to his place and hang out. Now, given I just had my recent diagnosis, and I was very, very frustrated. I wasn't having any interactions with anybody, But I was also afraid to tell him. I was afraid to live with it, And so I would just constantly tell him that I wasn't ready, essentially. which he respected, and looking back on it, it do kind of make sense why I was ghosted. But anyways, shortly after that, I found myself in what would be my first relationship. In the midst of all of these things, I had begun breaking down at home, and I was just kind of ready to move on with something. And so I met this guy who was ex-con. He was twice my age. I was 19. He was like 42. He'd been locked up over half of his life. So mentally, a lot of him was still like a 14-year-old. He didn't get to see the world. He didn't get to do the things that he wanted to do. He couldn't even have some of the basic experience that kids have because he'd already come from such a troubled place. And so I met this man. I was staying at my place. He was staying in a building, a house that he was living in exchange that he works on it. So bad though. But anyways, I started to visit over there more often, and the next thing I knew, I was basically spending every night over there. And so me and him, we bonded, and you know, we up sitting in bed smoking, he talking, and he say that he want to go to Texas. And like I said, things already been breaking down where I was. I ain't had nothing to lose, my life, whatever. So me and him started saving up each and every one of our checks from the jobs we were working like dogs, stacked up, got our bread, got our stuff, and then we dipped. We went across country to go to Texas. And little did I know that we was actually going there because his baby mama had taken his kids over there and he was seeking to get custody of them. But I guess we'll talk about that in part 3. Love y'all.
19 years old, autistic, coming out of the military, never once been told he was wanted. And the first people who showed up with attention showed up with intentions. This is the part of the HIV conversation that does not get enough room. Because not every story starts with a bad decision. Some stories start with loneliness so deep that attention from anyone feels like rescue. And the people who know how to spot that, the calculating ones, they look for exactly that person. He was not careless. He was vulnerable. And vulnerability in the wrong hands is not a character flaw. It is a target. Okay, I saved this one for last because everything we have talked about today, every number, every city, every story, it all lives inside what you are about to hear. This is Cody. And Cody was in a relationship for almost 4 years. He did everything right. Before they stopped using protection, he said, "Show me your results first." And the man showed him results, printed, formatted, negative. Except, and I need you to feel this, they were fake, edited in Microsoft Office, which means this man sat down at a computer, opened a document, changed the result from positive to negative, printed it out, handed it to Cody with a straight face, and waited. And every single time Cody said he wasn't feeling well. This man made him tea, cooked him dinner, tucked him in, and told him he didn't need to go to the hospital. Not because he was caring, because if Cody went to the hospital, it was over. So he kept him comfortable, he kept him home, he kept him sick for 4 years.
Hi, I just want to start this off by saying thank you for all the overwhelming support and messages I've received and just all the love that I've received from people across the world. It's really made me feel loved and, makes me feel good about my situation. So the way that I got HIV is very traumatic for me to talk about. I am still in the stages of healing from it. It's very difficult to film myself and talk about how, because it puts me in a negative headspace and then I just am depressed the entire day. So I'm trying to not revisit that, or I'm trying to get to a place where I can talk about it and be better mentally about it. So the way that I got HIV was very disturbing and very dark looking back on it. I was a victim. I don't like to be a victim. I don't want to feel sorry for myself, but this case is definitely, that's what it is. I was with a guy for almost 4 years. And apparently he knew he had HIV. Never disclosed his status with me. He watched me get sick and gave me HIV. and they never told me. I had no indication. No, I didn't realize, it was kind of like, I think I don't know. I don't know why anyone would do such a thing. But I don't know if I'll ever get proper closure for why. The only thing I can think of is it was probably some weird master plan to like keep me or trap me or something. I don't know. It's really disturbing. The thing that really bothers me the most thinking about it is that the medicine is basically free. So there's no need to give it to anyone else if you're on medication. So that's what really doesn't sit right with me, is that you can get the medicine for free, pretty much. So he recklessly and carelessly just infected me and didn't really care about me or have respect over my agency or what my decisions were. I feel violated. I feel betrayed on the deepest level imaginable. It's very, very hard to wrap my head around it. We are no longer together. He's actually in jail right now for substance abuse issues. That's a long story. We were together for 3 years, and he had a substance abuse issue, and I didn't know he had a substance abuse issue until we were already a year or two in our relationship. He just lied and lied and lied, and it was to the point where I just couldn't believe someone would just lie about so many things. And he would also gaslight me into thinking I was crazy for asking too many questions or, having suspicions. Ultimately, I ignored my intuition, I ignored my guts, and I ignored a lot of red flags because I thought I could help or fix them or heal him or make the situation better. But the biggest lesson I've learned is that some people are just not like you. If you think you are a good person and you have a good heart and stuff, and you can help people and fix people and change people, unfortunately there are some people that it's not capable of doing, and you will be the person to get burned. This entire situation has opened me up to realize that there are just truly evil, disturbing, and dark people in this world, and it's very sad and it's very scary. But I just want to let you know that if you need to really protect yourself from people in this world, because there's some people are just really disturbed. He basically manipulated every aspect of my life. He got us a monkey, which he knows how much I care about animals. He has 3 cats. So part of me stayed in the relationship even when I wasn't happy, because we had our monkey Momo and we had 3 cats. Our dynamic was that I worked and made the money and paid the bills while he stayed home and cooked and cleaned. And I got used to that kind of life for a long time, and I was just complacent in things. But I didn't know that while I was working, he would be doing sneaky things and being deceptive behind my back. So yeah. And anytime that I proposed that I wasn't happy or communicated the things that I needed from our relationship, he would just beg me and cry and be like, I'll do better, I'll change. And it was just a broken record. And it became a point to where it felt like it was almost like a charity case relationship where I was just with him because he would beg me. And it was really not good. But I'm the kind of person that I'm willing to work through things and, wait for someone to be better, or if they're working on themselves or making effort. But the thing is that now that I've been diagnosed with HIV and AIDS, it's kind of like it throws all of that out the window, because you've already been lying to me, you've already betrayed me, and now you gave me a disease I'll have for the rest of my life. So, That being said, that is kind of, you can't really do anything with anyone after they've committed such a thing like that. And the fact that it was known that of the status, that's what really just, that really gets me. In the beginning of our relationship, I asked for proof of his status before we were to have sex without protection. Because before that, I was wearing a condom, but I said, I need to know what your status is before we take it to the next level. So he showed me results that said he was negative. However, looking back in retrospect of all the lies and all the fishy things, the things that just didn't add up, now I'm looking back and the results he showed me looked fake. It looked like he had put them into Microsoft Office and edited it from a time when it was not positive. But anyway, yeah, so he basically lied, showed me fake results. I trusted him. I believed it, because who would lie about that, especially if they care about somebody? But yeah, I was literally lied to and fooled and betrayed. And I, you know, what do you do? So when I see comments of people saying, you know, it's your fault, it's your responsibility, obviously, like, no shit, it is my fault. But it's like, in this situation, I was lied to and tricked. So yeah, I'm just an absolute fucking dumbass. Like, is that what you're really gonna try to portray to me? Or are you gonna have some sympathy and empathy and realize that these things happen in the world and it's not like I chose this? And it's easy to talk from an outside perspective when you haven't experienced the situation or gone through it. So try to look outside of yourself before you say hurtful things to people. I was with him for almost 4 years, and he was the only person I was with in that entire duration. So this was completely him. I did not contribute to the HIV. I had no say in it. He lied to me, and he gave me a disease for the rest of my fucking life. So there's that. And anytime that I had suggested that I was sick and I needed to go to the hospital, he would double down and try to convince me to stay home, and said he would make me tea, make me dinner, and make me cozy so I wouldn't go to the hospital. So I do have an AIDS diagnosis because my cell count was at 120. It is now 226, so I am out of the AIDS stage technically, but the damage has been done to my immune system, so hopefully I can fully recover, which I believe I will be. But I'll talk about my symptoms in another video, but thank you for all the support.
He manipulated every aspect of his life and then got a monkey, a whole monkey, knowing what he knew, sitting on what he was sitting on. Because if the fake test results didn't keep Cody, maybe a monkey would. I wish I was joking. I genuinely wish this was the part where I say I made that up for dramatic effect. But Cody said it himself. A monkey named Momo, used as emotional leverage inside a relationship that was already built on a foundation of biological deception. The audacity does not have a ceiling. It genuinely does not. And here is what I need to leave you with today, because we covered a lot. We covered Atlanta and Chicago and Houston. We covered people who found out through a phone call, people whose bodies gave them the news before the doctor did, and people who were handed a lie on a piece of paper and trusted it. Because who would do that? Who would actually do that? And the answer, as uncomfortable as it is that some people would, some people do, and they are not wearing a sign. They look fine. They look great, actually. Radiant, healthy, trustworthy. And some of them have a printer. So here is what you do with that. You go further than the paper. You speak to the doctor. You trust the gut that whispers. Something is off. You do not let anyone make you feel crazy for wanting to be sure. And you talk about this in your group chat, in your family, with your people, because the only reason this is still spreading the way it is because the silence around it is louder than it should be. TikTok is doing what the news won't, and today, so did we. Get tested, know your status, and make sure the people in your life know theirs. I'll see you in the next one.